Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeal free health care for illegal. They have a lot of words.
The biggest loser is the state with the shortest dick. I like wood. Bobhead.
What? It's a malware called QSnatch.
A resubscriber, thank you so much. Who's subscribing on Twitch right now? Who is doing that? Who hasn't done that? Who feels like, oh damn, I should be doing that? Who's that? How about our lovely folks who are subscribing on YouTube? Where's the new subscribers? Say hello. What's up, Substack? What's up, Instagram? That's right, I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I bring the show to you. I'm not doing this show for YouTube. I'm not doing this show for Facebook. I'm not doing this show for Twitch and Amazon. I'm not doing this show for Substack or for certainly not Rumble. I'm doing it for you. And if that's where you are, I will bring the show there. I don't care. I am personally why they canceled live streaming on Truth Social, ladies and gentlemen, because they knew I would do it. Okay, Link, you're definitely not new, and I appreciate we respect our elders here. All right, almost up. Some days you just feel it. Some days you're just feeling it. I know that's right. Sometimes you play the old regular theme song. And you just gotta own it. Welcome to House Sparks Megaworldwide. I'm your host, House Sparks. What's going on? Feeling alright? Hey, look. Some of you are feeling a little bit anxious about the current state of affairs. Some of you are feeling a bit nervous. And I understand, because it's a crazy world we live in. But let me tell you something. You got more job security than Mike Waltz does. Oh, damn. We're not elders. I meant elders in terms of people who've been on subscribing for a long time versus the newbies. I did not mean that to be indirect. Anyways. So, all right, let's get started with the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, where's my pointer? Why does your mouse have to be so tiny? It shouldn't matter that it's size, but it does. Actually, hi chat room. Welcome to the show. How you guys doing? Where are you? Hit that like right out of the gate. Again, probably the single best thing you can do for the show, if you're on YouTube, is hit the like. If there's a single best thing you can do on Twitch, it's send an emoji and then Facebook, a frown emoji in the chat, just like, oh, I'm so angry at what this man is saying that I had to type a thing that makes it, I am mad, right? Do that, because apparently that tricks the algorithm into thinking you're bloody well intoxicated by me, and how can you not, honestly? I have a late night flight out of here. I gotta hit the I gotta hit the skids. What at like almost midnight? I'm red-eyeing into Chicago, so I will be there in time to do my show with our dear friend Rob Glenn. Now tomorrow's morning show, a little bit of housekeeping. Tomorrow's morning show, normally 9 o'clock versus 11 o'clock, that kind of thing. Under normal circumstances, I would push it to the normal. I would stay at the normal time, and I would do my show there at 11. But I have been asked to go on Dino Badala's show, and so that would be like that. He does his show right at the top of when the Friday show would be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do our show at Rob Glenn's studio at 9 a.m. Chicago time, which will be earlier than usual, but you can watch it later and I'll replay or something like that. Anyways, so that way I can finish the show and do Dean's show from that studio, and then I can clear out and let Rob get on with his life before I move on to my hotel. And then I'm going to do the afternoon show. I'm going to be on Joan Esposito's show. So just so you know, Saturday is the 20th anniversary of WCPT as Chicago's Progressive Talk. And I have 25th anniversary? 20th. It's the 20th, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I basically am going to be on a bunch of their different shows. I think the mayor of Chicago's going to be on our show on Saturday with us. We're going to have a couple of other hosts. I'm going to be on their shows afterwards at this live event in Chicago. And then Friday afternoon, I'm going to be on Joan Esposito's show for 2 hours from 5 till 7 Chicago time, which is about the time we do this show. It would coincide. So what I'm probably going to do is either do an alternate live stream at a different time, or God help us, I will live stream while I'm on Joan's show. So I'll check in. I'm gonna ask them because they asked me to do it. I'm gonna ask them if it's okay if I hook up to their streaming system at the studio where we'll be doing it and live stream from there using their Facebook setup with their cameras. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. If so, I got to get to the station like an hour ahead and set it all up. But it would be 5 Central to 7 Central. So yeah, and how you doing? I figured it's a good hair down Thursday. I mean, maybe we should do like Thursday should be hair down Thursday. You know, sometimes I get a headache from having my hair back in a ponytail all the time. But it's a thing. Does anybody else have that? Just me and gymnasts, I guess. Okay, so I'm very fluffy. Thank you for noticing. A couple of I have to say why is this screen all shite? Hold on. I'm going to take this story and copy it. See if I can put it in Safari and get rid of some of this garbage so I can show you. It's a reader thing. There we go. Yeah. Damn. Some of these, like, the ads on top of ads on top of ads just suck. Okay. So Mike Waltz got booted today, and let me tell you something. Is that like? Believe me, I understand. Jet has been trying to talk me into a man bun for years. I get it, and I don't mind the Gene Simmons samurai look from 1970 something. So I'm not ruling it out entirely. Just tie it lower. It doesn't work that way though. Anyways, so everybody, we'll talk about the Mike Waltz stuff. The reaction to that is pretty great. She's doing a special show, I think, at 5 o'clock. I want to say tomorrow, whatever this extended show, weird hours. And never mind. Anyways, point I'm trying to make is that news is everywhere. Hi, Instagram. Also, Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram, please give me a frown emoji right now if you can. Right. So I'm not in for them. I'm just being a guest on the show, but we'll figure it out. I don't know. It's a lot of fast moving parts. Okay. So, where are we? Oh yeah. So we'll talk about the Mike Waltz stuff. Mike Waltz is going to be UN ambassador because Donald Trump wants to undermine the UN, and having a fuck up like Mike Waltz in the role is the best way to do it. It's totally in line with his goals. You want to send a complete asshole over there. It just shows how little he respects the UN and stuff. But that said, he's not going to I mean, Jesus Christ. We've had, under Trump, we will always have perfunctory dipshits going to the UN. So don't judge us, other United Nations. But the story I want to point out, if I may, is this little guy right here. Musk had the PR team jump down the Wall Street Journal's throat today over this report, as somebody was starting to put out feelers from the board of directors that they're thinking about replacing him. And the funny thing was the stock started to drift higher when that news came out, and then Elon Musk jumped on it, and a bunch of other people attacked, the Wall Street Journal and Reuters for reporting this. Okay, and then as soon as they were like, no, we're not, and they rolled back the thing like, we're not really looking because these are private deliberations, blah blah blah. So we're not looking. When they rolled that back, then the stock started to go down again. Maybe you should have kept your fucking mouth shut, even if they're not going to replace you. So that's pretty great. I think that was a wonderful part of the story overall. It's Wes's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Excellent. And Boston Brian's here. And thank you very much. Yes, follow and subscribe on the Substack as well. Yada, yada. I feel like all this housekeeping. Jesus Christ. I need Matt the Maggoty Rat to do more ads. Clearly. All right. Now, here's where some of this stuff cascades from. So, Fox News put out this story. Hegseth sends bold warning to Iran over Houthis. You were warned. Okay. Not consider yourself warned. You were warned. Now, past tense, meaning shit's coming. So in many ways, if we attack them in the next, 7 days, this is him accidentally, on purpose, leaking it by just not understanding how to, manipulate the tense of words in statements. Phew. So we'll get to him in a second, but it follows after this. And these are the kind of stories. So Mike Waltz, here is the photograph of him just as he's finding out. Not that he's being fired from NSA, but that he has to go to the UN now. So this is he on Faulkner or some shit? I don't know which show this is on, but Jennifer Griffin reports. Okay. It's a Fox News alert.
Confirming to Fox News that National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is out.
Yes, three. How many Scaramucci's was it? Was it 5 Scaramucci's? Something like that.
As his deputy, Alex Wong. Additional names are likely to come, we're told, and we expect.
Can we just soak that in? We're allowed to do that, right? Just enjoy that shit? Yeah.
Hear from the president on this soon. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner.
Now you're going to get a fucking post on Truth Sinkhole, and he's going to pretend it didn't happen, and then go have a fucking prayer lunch with Dr. Phil.
State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce is also with me and coming up. First, though, let's get.
Oh, wait. Tammy Bruce. This is fucking awesome. Live at the Pentagon. Hang on. All right. I have to go find something. Check this out. Wait. I was just watching earlier. I want to say it was like the State Department briefing. This is so par for the goddamn course. Trump's giving the commencement address at the University of Alabama. Right in line with his intellectual capacity. God bless you, you mad fuckers. Where is it? State Department briefing. It's good stuff. It's the laundressmats. Oh yeah, maybe this is it. Okay, breaking. Hold on, I have to find it.
All presidential decisions.
Yes. Okay, yes. So check this out. This is live at the State Department earlier today. We now go live to Tammy Bruce, Captain Dipshit, and watch her get this question.
And of course, the I would say certainly with what we've done in 100 days with getting people to the table, the nature of what is happening with the Houthis, the fact that Iran is at
the nature of what is happening with the Houthis. You mean war?
It is a tremendously successful foreign policy, and whatever the president decides, it will be successful.
Tammy.
Yeah, that's right. Whatever he decides, it will be successful. That's all I needed to hear. I'm with you, 100%. Here we go. Now, wait, I need you to hear that, make sure I don't know if the person's too quiet. Let me know, but listen to the question.
Now, so we've got a lot of activity down here in the first row.
Something that's just come out from the president.
Yeah. All right, great, terrific.
The president has just written on Truth Social that Mike Waltz is going to become the new U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
Well, there you go.
No longer the National Security
Fabulous.
Advisor. And in addition to that, he says that in the interim, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will serve as National Security Advisor while continuing his strong leadership at the State Department. Do you know how long he's going to be serving in both roles?
It is clear that I just heard this.
From you, right now, because I am part of a well machine. One thing is clear is that I've never heard those words in that order until just this very second. And it should... Good God.
This is the magic. Well, I have some insights as to the potential of certain things that might happen. But when the president, and this of course is all presidential decisions, right? So I'm with the State Department. It is as...
Are you sure? Have you checked? Are you worried that the next question might be, Tammy, you've been reassigned. I am just finding this out right now, actually. So I guess we're done here. I was kidding, Tammy. Oh, you've been fired. Oh. What? Yeah, it says right here you're going to be escorted out of the building. I am? Who are you? What the shit? Just and that's why we needed a businessman in there, somebody who knows business when to get the business going. Hey, look, it could have been worse. She could have stumbled on the kidney. Oh my God. Is it even working? I don't think so. Hold on. It should. Damn it. There we go. Oh, beware the kidney. Oh God. Oh, beware of the kidney.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Oh my God. Whew. That was a lot. You got to be careful if you're not going to bring that up. I mean, just don't say the word, and we'll be okay. Okay, I don't know what the rule is about typing it into the chat, but all right. Back to Tammy the Bruce. Okay, well, fuck her. Anyways, you get the point. She found out live. So here we go. So this is her later. Now we jump to the future when she's actually absorbed this information.
News of what's coming together right now. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin is at the Pentagon. Jennifer.
Well, Harris, this is really stunning news coming out of the White House. It's been confirmed by our own Jackie Heinrich, White House correspondent, that
Jackie Heinrich
Waltz, the national security advisor, and his deputy, Alex Wong, have been pushed out of that position by the president.
I lasted 100 days and an afternoon. Okay.
This comes just after the 100.
I'm fired?
Day mark. You'll remember during the first Trump administration, of course, Mike Flynn was the shortest serving national security advisor. He lasted 24 days.
And the kookiest, I would like to say. Yeah.
This is obviously coming in the wake of what has become known as Signalgate, where shortly before the U.S. launched.
Michael Waltz was a bullfrog. He was a good friend of mine. Highlight on the was. All right.
Its campaign military.
Ribbit. I can't. Can you not? All right. Ribbit.
Campaign against the Houthis in Yemen. Mike Waltz, as national security advisor, mistakenly added the Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg to a Signal chat in which his defense secretary, as well as other national security, the head of the CIA and others, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, were on a very sensitive talk on this insecure platform that's not used for government conversations typically. That led to an embarrassing incident with Defense Secretary Hegseth sharing.
Yeah, it was so embarrassing. That's what it was. It was all embarrassing. And then it led to an illegal moment.
Are largely believed to be classified details of that.
Largely believed. They're fucking top secret. Attack plans that are imminent, that give the time of the launch and the weapons involved and the targets are top secret. They're always going to be top secret. They always have been top secret. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. Knock it off. Are and always will be top secret. Period. End of story. Stop fucking tap dancing. Stop it. I know this is Fox, but everybody else, knock it off.
Houthi operation, about the timings of airstrikes, the timing.
Yeah, I did notice that too, 56 Nickrit. She said insecure platform. She's definitely going after Signal. She's not on Team Signal.
What kind of military platforms were going to be used. And so what we have seen, we've seen a vacuum created here surrounding Defense Secretary Hegseth. He's fired 5 close associates in the wake.
Yeah, by the way, all people he brought in himself. So I don't want to hear shit about draining the swamp. I don't want to hear shit about the deep state. He fired 5 fucking dudes that he brought in with him that he's known for at least a decade. Fucking Caldwell, the main dude, he used to have him on Fox and Friends all the time. They were in the same vet organization, or faux vet organization, I would argue. It was because I don't know how honest that was as an organization. He was pilfering the fucking funds for it. Hegseth was.
That Signalgate, as well as because of leak investigations here at the Pentagon, some of those positions remain empty. And then National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, you'll remember Harris, Laura Loomer, who is a conservative activist, went in to see the president and had a list of people on the National Security Council that Mike Waltz then had to turn around and fire. So there has been incredible.
Yes, that's right. Laura Loomer, who apparently says she gave Trump the best blowjob of his life, allegedly, is apparently outranks Mike Waltz.
Instability at the top of the national security team for the president. And Jackie Heinrich is reporting that there could be more shoes to drop. In fact, we just heard from Tim Kaine, a Democratic senator who sits on the Senate Armed Services Committee. He just spoke to Fox News. If we have that bite isolated, it'd be interesting to hear from him right now.
All right. I don't know if we have that. We want to give.
Yeah, they don't want to play Tim Kaine's thing because they don't want to hear it. They don't.
Chance to check up. Maybe you can give us a primer on it. This is just breaking right.
Primer, as in prime paint, priming the project before you complete it. Not a primer.
From Democrat.
Spelled with 1 M, not 2. I don't know.
Senator Tim Kaine. Jennifer.
What he said was that, in fact, he believes that more shoes could drop, suggesting that there are more firings to come. He quoted Senator John McCain and talked about legs falling off a centipede. I think that was the quote. But he also earlier had spoken to our producers on the Hill, and he had expressed extreme concern about a late-night tweet by Defense Secretary Hegseth in which he threatened Iran with potential military action if
right. Okay.
they don't
So
control the.
Hold on. We'll get to that clip in a minute because that's not seen as a positive around Trump circles or any of this other shit. Like it appears it reeks of a drunk tweet. I just have to say, like, that's the concern people have. Like, this, you fuckers, you better fuck you up, bro. Like, it was that kind of a tweet in the middle at like 11:48 at night or something.
And Senator.
Or is that when my flight leaves? Anyways.
Again, a key member of the Armed Services Committee said we don't need another war in the Middle East, something that I think many would agree, and which the president, of course, campaigned on. So there's a lot of turmoil.
He more campaigned on if we're going to have a war, we should take the oil than not having any at all.
Now, again, a great deal of vacuum at the top of the national security.
You're right. It does suck. It does suck. It all sucks.
Chain as a result of the removal of Mike Waltz, who had been seen as a loyalist to President Trump for many years. These are some of his closest advisors that have been.
So he's dumb, is what you're telling me. Thank you, Jerry.
Jennifer, I don't mean to scoot away, but I need to. Tammy Bruce with the State Department is with us right now. Jennifer, great reporting.
And she just found out.
You, Tammy Bruce, State Department spokesperson. So first of all, just kind of top line this for us. I mean, Jennifer has given us the news from the State Department perspective. Tammy.
Mm-hmm. Well, what
couldn't get somebody from the National Security Agency. I mean, I guess maybe. All right. Marco Rubio is taking over the job, so she's now the spokesperson for the NSA as well.
That's what I can tell you when it comes to national security for the country, the nature of the president, who's involved in making determinations about this nation's trajectory, of course, economically, when it comes to security.
Of course.
And what we've seen and what we know from President Trump is he's been very clear that his commitment is to diplomacy around the world. He is clearly an active and engaged president. That, I think, is an understatement. This is
You mean he's an asshole micromanager who doesn't know how anything works and is just like every other boss that's a second-generation rich kid who grew up in a company his father built and therefore has no idea what anybody actually does for a fucking living and picks his fucking accountants by what kind of hat they wear?
Who comes from business, where his vision and his understanding of what needs to occur is the guiding hand of everything that happens in this government. And of course, he is
the guiding hand. Praise be to him. His guiding hand is upon us. Oh, praise the Lord. He comes from Calvary. His guiding hand is upon everyone. And the Lord said, you're fired. You're fired. You're in another job. Oh, yes, you're fired. You're fired. And amen. All right. His guiding hand. Shut the fuck up.
Hands-on, literally, when it comes to...
When he's hands-on, literally. No, he isn't. What do you fucking think what do you do? Grab Caldwell by the fucking shirt collar and walk him out of the Pentagon? What are you talking about? Hands-on figuratively, stupid. It's fucking, come here, Waltz. Yeah, take it on the heel and toe, you bastard. Trump literally threw him out of the building. It was amazing. Shut the fuck up.
Making things happen when it comes to the implementation of policies, etc., at every department, every day, whether it's the State Department or the Department of Defense, or, of course, when it comes to who he chooses to advise him. So I'm not going to get ahead of what the president may or may not.
Bitch, you're behind what he decided. You can't get ahead of him. You're not even caught up yet. You didn't even know when you walked to the podium as the spokesperson for the State Department, that Marco Rubio, your boss, the Secretary of the State, was appointed to be the NSA. You didn't know that. Don't talk about getting ahead when you're so far behind, stupid. You're like one of those people in a marathon or like a 400-meter race around a track and field where everybody else has passed you. So if you didn't know it was the second fucking lap, people wouldn't realize how far behind you are. You're like, wow, I'm third. No, you're not, asshole. Everybody else is a full lap ahead of you. They're just pacing themselves because you're no threat. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Later today, this is a White House framework. But what I do know is that the talent bench in this country and for this government is deep.
What? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. If it was that deep, why the fuck is he shuffling people around? Why is he having Kash Patel have to be the head of the ATF? Why is he moving Marco Rubio, like staying at the State Department, making him be the interim NSA? Why is he moving the fucking NSA dude to the UN if they've got all these fucking talent? There's like 9 motherfuckers in this office. He's just shuffling them around like deck chairs on the Titanic. What are you talking about? It's not like, hey, fuck, I don't have to keep any of these guys. I got awesome on deck. These are fucking, I got Pez dispensers full of fucking awesome candidates. Yeah? Just fucking boom, boom, boom. I'm just fucking whackety whack. What are you talking about? Like, if you have a deep bench, you could just fire these motherfuckers. You wouldn't have gaps. You wouldn't have, like, Pete Hegseth doesn't, insofar as I know, have a chief of staff right now. His deputy doesn't have a chief of staff right now. There's not a deputy secretary right now over there. You fired everybody, and they haven't been replaced. You can't find anybody because nobody wants to work with this dipshit, drunk, dialing motherfucker.
That, of course, this also is every day we see in this 100th day anniversary week, if you...
Anniversary. As in the year, annual, not in anus as in pulling something out of your ass. It's 100 days. It's not even an official thing. It's just, yeah.
That the president is engaged in.
Oh, she said, if you will. I won't. I'm not going to call something that takes 100 days an annual anything. I'm not going to. No, it's not going to be an anniversary.
Aspect of the country, and the choices he makes moving forward will be, as usual, excellent, and will be in the...
will be, as usual, excellent. They're going to be excellent. They're going to be totally fucking non-bogus, okay? Yeah? And absolutely counter-gnarly. They're going to be excellent, even though I don't know what they are. And today wasn't... I mean, it's a matter of opinion what's excellent is. Because one person's gnarly is another person's fabulous. Okay? So there you go. As usual. And we're turd polishing. We're shining up these pieces of shit. All right.
Interest of
I'm in a singing mood today. You can tell. It's when my hair's down.
American people.
You know, the president didn't get as much credit as he should have, Secretary.
Okay, whatever she's about to say is going to be ridiculous. I'm going to call it. Whatever she thinks he's not getting enough credit for is going to be fucking stupid.
That mission was done well. It was completed well. And I think it's worth stating that through all of this is a leadership move now that's happening.
What? The Houthi strike? What are you talking about? He didn't fly the fucking planes. This isn't Maverick 3, The Reckoning.
The American people.
You know, the president didn't get as much credit as he should have, Secretary. That mission was done well. It was completed well. And I think it's worth stating that through all of this is a leadership move now that's happening. But the actual mission that President Trump wanted worked out very well. Your last quick thought, we'll move forward.
I assume she's talking about the Houthi strike. And what do you think he drew up that? You think he micromanaged that part of it? You think he was like, no, I fucking think we should, like in Top Gun Maverick, you're gonna have to maneuver this canyon. I'll teach you guys how to fly it, and then you're gonna have to pull up like this. You're gonna have to laser and eyeball the drop bomb right into the butthole of the nuclear site, and then you're gonna have to pull up and pull 7 Gs out of there, and then fly away because the anti-aircraft rockets are gonna see you come online and stuff like that. And you're gonna turn this way, and then highway to the danger zone. Gonna take... Mr. President, you don't actually have to sing. Yes, I do. Here we all stand. If it wasn't for Mike Waltz, Waltz, Waltz. Execute the plan. Now we're gonna get shot out of the sky. Highway to the Dingleberry. These motherfuckers.
Yeah, well, I think that's it. When we're looking at the choices that are made, when it comes to whether it's the Houthis, the nature of diplomacy with Iran, which of course always continues, bringing people to the table regarding Ukraine.
Of course it always continues. Of course. Of course. Of course. Why would you even question that? Of course it always continues. Don't listen to what the Iranians said about this and how everything we presented is a non-starter. I mean, I know that. Why wouldn't I know that? Of course I know that. I know that. I know they've said they're not talking to us, just like the Chinese have said that. I know that. Doesn't mean I think I agree. Doesn't mean, of course I know that. I know that. Why wouldn't I know that? Sorry. That prop cigarette is getting way too much use.
Russia, the situation in Gaza, the critical minerals deal, which is actually a much broader deal with Ukraine, with money and resources that will be reinvested into Ukraine and its rebuilding after this horrible carnage that has unfolded over 3 years.
Oh, did it unfold? Huh. Who unfolded it? I'm just saying, like if you were saying... Like somebody took out a board game out of a box, you know, and one person grabs the money and the little fucking play pieces, and I always want the little Yorkie dog. The iron, I used to love the iron, but I'm a big fan of the Yorkie dog these days, even though I have cats. And then somebody unfolds the board. Who would that be in this analogy? Would it be Ukraine that unfolded this? Fucking hell.
We've got major successes, economically and otherwise, as inflation...
Do we?
Goes down. It is a
no, inflation's not going down.
Historic first 100 days. It has been aggressive. It's been exciting, and America is wanted.
It's been aggressive and exciting. Yeah, kind of like being pawed by an ugly fuck in a clothing room at Bergdorf Dorfman of Hank the Dorfman. Sorry.
By electing President Trump, and we're seeing the benefits of his vision on every single framework, and it's been a success. It'll continue to be a success.
Yes, it's successful. These are some of the most successful personnel shuffles you've ever seen in your life, and everything will continue to be a success.
You using the whole piss doc?
Absolutely.
Secretary, let's move forward now. The big headline.
Can you say first of all, she's the spokesperson. She's not the secretary. Did she? Sorry.
Success. It'll continue.
Wait, hold on.
Be a success.
Secretary, let's move forward now. The big headline today, the defense...
It's like, you can't do that to her, because as far as she knows, she was just made Secretary of State, and she's just finding out on your show. I'm the secretary now? Oh, awesome! Where's the memo? I made it. Who got fired? Did Marco become the permanent SA? I'm the new secretary. Oh my God.
With some of the harshest words we have seen toward Iran's regime and the support it has of terrorists. It's a terrorist.
Nasty.
Pete Hegseth laid down the law in a post.
Boom! In a post in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Night. Message to Iran. We see your lethal support to the Houthis. We know exactly what you are doing. You know very well that the U.S. military is capable of, and you were warned. You may pay the consequence at the time and place of our choosing.
Hey, dipshit. You can't change the word may and soften the fucking impact of this. You can't rewrite this on the air and unfuck this. Will. This is a declaration. Stupid. You can't turn this into may. You will pay the price, pay the consequence at the time and place of our choosing. Will. We see your lethal support. We know what you're doing. You know what we're capable of, and you were warned. Past tense, dumb fuck. You will pay the price. That's why there's a controversy about this, dipshit. Oh, God.
Our Operation Rough Rider, the United States has launched.
Which sounds like, just call it what it is, Operation Raw Dog. Like, Operation Sandpaper Lube. Rough Rider. I swear to God. Does Hegseth have any nicknames he hasn't thought up in a truck stop men's room? I'm a rough boy. Sorry.
More than 1,000 airstrikes on Houthi targets since mid-March. Some 47.
Yeah, you know, man of peace. He's a peacekeeper. This is peace. Yeah, no new wars. That's right. No, we're not doing new wars. That's okay. We're going to get us out of these forever wars. We're just going to stop this. He wants peace. He wants peace deals, and he's a peaceful guy, and he wants peace, and he's going to be the prince of the prince of peace. Peace is all he cares about. Carving off a peace, maybe.
Days of hitting that enemy. A nuclear watchdog group released a new report amid U.S. talks with Iran. And it warns the Trump administration about Iran's deceptive and very effective negotiating tactics. Here's a Fox headline on that report, warning to Trump negotiators about deceptive Iranian version of the art of the deal. It adds Iranian regime gimmicks mean they are offering Trump.
She's chuckling. The art of the deal. They threw that in there. That's so smart. Let's see what Fox is doing. It's almost as if Fox is writing memos to Trump to tell him he's getting fucked because everybody who works for him is as stupid as he is, but not realizing who is more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him.
More than what was presented to Obama. I hear your reaction to this. I can't wait for you to drill down for us.
Yeah, tell us the details. Thank you, Harris Fucknut. Please tell us. With Tammy Dunce over here, we'll drill down deep and give us the minutia, the minutiae. We can hear all these grand propositions, you and me, right? We can hear all these kind of broad, platitudes. But no, today we're going to drill down. We're going to get the fine details about how this Iranian deal is going. I'm doing Gavin Newsom hands, just so you know I'm serious. All right.
Well, look, President Trump has made it very clear when this began, and certainly we saw it in his first term. He doesn't put up with bunk, but he also knows, and he said this to Iran.
So Hegseth is fired? I mean, the dude is walking bunk.
That if they didn't come to the table, if they weren't going to do the right thing, it would be very bad for them.
Oh, look out, sauciness. That's right. Can't believe I actually spanked myself for that joke. I don't know why. It's going to be very bad for you. Get over here, Iran. You naughty little thing. You think Iran, like, when Trump pictures Iran, he just pictures, like, the giant sort of trans Circes from 300. It's just kind of like this deep-voiced, bloody, sexy gay man with a ring and everything. It's like, this is what I'm up against.
People can use their imagination, but I think...
I just did. Thank you very much. And quite well, I might add. I used my imagination quite well. Also, that does not... Let me run this by you again. Listen to what this dipshit is saying. She's the spokesperson for the State Department.
Well, look, President Trump has made it very clear when this began, and certainly we saw it in his first term. He doesn't put up with bunk, but he also knows, and he said this to Iran earlier, that if they didn't come to the table, if they weren't going to do the right thing, it would be very bad for them. Now, people can use their imagination, but I think...
Yes, I mean, sometimes it might be that they get whacked on the nose with a rolled up newspaper or a little spank on their hiney. Could be that kind of bad. It could be, we're not letting you buy HP printers from Betsy DeVos's shell company anymore. That would be very bad for them. Or nuclear oblivion, where all their people glow, the corpses of their people glow for 100 years. So, you're just asking me to use my... That's not really using my imagination. That's more just my logic.
Also, the Iranians understand what very bad can be, obviously.
Yeah, they do. You should see how badly they treat gay people and women, and the children of their enemies. Yeah, I think they have a very good idea of what bad means.
Can't consult with General Soleimani at this point because President Trump makes decisions about what's best for the...
You want to know what's headed your way? Better talk to Soleimani. Oh, you can't because it's pushing up the daisies. That's a, by the way, just in case you're wondering, that's a really lame veiled death threat from the spokesperson from the State Department towards the Iranian people in general.
Of the United States. In this case, as we've seen from day one to the 100th day, the 101st day, is that he wants diplomacy to work. He understands who he's dealing with. He is not just the best diplomat in the world, but he also is the best deal maker.
Yeah, oh yeah, I could tell by all these deals we have immediately. Like, dude, nobody but him would be able to get Russia and Iran, or Russia and Ukraine to stop fighting in an hour with one fucking phone call. Like, that was fucking magic on Earth 165. Too bad we don't live on that one.
Who's in that room? He knows that the Iranians are on their heels. He knows what's at stake for the
Yeah, because Biden put them there.
People, for the people of the Middle East, for the people of the world. And he is going to make decisions first for what's best for the American people. And that then consequently is...
It doesn't matter his opinion about what's best for the American people, because what if he thinks what's best for the American people is Iran doesn't exist anymore? They've been a pain in the ass, and who needs them?
For everyone else.
See what I mean? It kind of matters, that you want the best for the American people. Like, honey, I love you. I think we could be a great couple, and all I want is the best for you. And I think what would be best is if all your friends and family were tied up and gagged and put their feet in concrete and pushed out in a small dinghy while it was on fire as we both watch. Huh? What, you don't think... You got something against me wanting the best for you? No, not that part. I think it's just the details. It's your definition of what's the best
on the planet. So Donald Trump is not someone who gets fooled, and he is...
Okay, lady, try harder. Come on. He goes outside with that hairdo every day. Someone convinced him that it looked good at some point.
Who knows what he wants?
Somebody thinks that, like, yeah, do your whole face orange. Leave your ears white. It looks awesome. Like, he doesn't get fooled.
Goes into that room. He's made it clear that he's going to get what he wants. And that is why the American people put him...
I'm sorry, are we talking about, like, E. Jean Carroll and his other victims now?
In that office.
No, it's interesting. You bet our enemy knows it, too. Because this...
Oh, you bet our enemy knows it. They better know what's up. What's coming.
His first go around.
I think so.
Second term. All right.
That's right.
This is his second term. Yeah. I mean, it looks as shitty as the first, and it looks like he didn't learn anything from the first time. As a matter of fact, it looks like he's starting where he left off in the worst part of his biggest fuck up in the middle of COVID. Like, it's like he's nostalgic for the last year he was president. He's like, I remember when the economy was collapsing. Then, yeah.
U.S. and Ukraine have inked a historic deal, and it happened yesterday. A long-awaited agreement, which really could have happened when Zelensky was in the United States not too long ago. But he didn't
Yeah, but Vance was trying to stop it because he's on orders from Putin.
do it then. But anyway, the agreement gives the U.S. access to...
Harris says Botox forehead. Is that what you think? I got to tell you, as a legally speaking, technically, a silly rubber-faced git, I believe is what they call me in England. Yeah, I can make my lips dance. You can't? What's wrong with you? The ability to actually move every muscle in my face is kind of necessary to comedy, and I don't understand the Botox thing at all. Like the idea that, like, no, totally, this is my impression of, right, it'd be terrible.
Earth, minerals, oil, and gas from Ukraine. And it also creates a reconstruction fund to give the U.S. financial and material support for the aid that it has provided. The landmark deal also changes the dynamic.
I think she has that backwards, but whatever.
The two countries' relationship. Russia's attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure now amount to attacks on American interests.
Boom! Now, knowing how that meeting went with Zelensky and Vance and Trump, and that gathering and how shitty everybody was worried about that, and I'm sure our friend Philip Ittner, I hope he gets to see this piece because holy shit. Do you think anybody would have thought that on Fox News that would be coming out of a host on Fox News's mouth about a month later?
Also changes the dynamic of the two countries' relationship. Russia's attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure now amount to attacks on American interests. This is a game changer. Secretary of State Marco Rubio celebrated the news, calling it a milestone in our shared prosperity, an important step in ending this war.
And why? Because they created an Article 5 situation unilaterally between us and Ukraine. Our businesses, our investors, our companies, or whatever, are going to be over there with American citizens working with them over there, whether they're any of the rare earths and stuff. Yes, a lot of them are held in the Russian-held territory. Exactly, DB Golding. That's part of the deal, is that they're going to try to broom them out. And I know people are going, it's not true. It doesn't matter whether her reading of this is right or not. It's the fact that she's saying those words on Fox News that matter, because this whole fucking thing is about show. This is all a big fucking puff. Everything about it is blather. But the direction of the blather tells us something about the current trend of thought within these things. And the fact that Rubio has always been a Russia and Iran hawk. Right? So, sorry, somebody's scrolling through there. Check what? Sorry. I know the Trump's birthday is on whatever V-Day or some shit like that. So they're gonna have tanks rolling around. It'll be another opportunity for him to make fun of him and his exploitation of the troops. And on Flag Day. Thank you. It'll be a great opportunity for you and I to mock the fact that he doesn't actually give a shit about the troops, and that Obama passed the VA Choice and Accountability Act of 2014. So,
Bruce, this is the next chapter, and Trump is writing it.
Well, you've given me a little bit of...
Looks like Zelensky's writing it.
Promotion. I'm the spokesperson for the department, happily representing, of course, the Secretary of State.
I'm so sorry.
And,
but you do
it's not
deserve
going to
a
give me
promotion.
nightmares. It'll be good. Thank you. Look, this is one of the most exciting things, Harris, and you're right. They were meant to sign this deal when President Zelensky was in the Oval Office. That day, this deal was supposed to have been signed. It's good, and it shows you that President Trump has patience, and he is willing to go back.
That he's fucking flip-flops and he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's easily led, and the greater influence of people around him is still outweighing all the Russia supporting dipshits, just like last time.
Even when someone makes a huge mistake. But the exciting part...
You mean Vance? Okay, hold on one second. Is this... Oops, yeah. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Hold on. I thought I had a cat caught in a closet. Turns out they're fine, so I grabbed a beverage and came back in. All right, we're good. I was like, oh, wow. You love the rolling banner? Oh, good. I'm glad. The funny thing is if shit really breaks down, I can't use it. I wish it would autoplay on Restream, but if shit goes south, but whatever. That's what I think there should be anyways. Restream, I have some notes. All right. Cat's fine. Yeah.
As I mentioned
Hold on.
a little bit ago, is that the profits, the 50% of the profits that come from this deal will be reinvested back into Ukraine and reconstruction projects, economic projects. So it's about minerals, it's about oil, et cetera, as you've mentioned. So it's much
Oil, etc. It's the best. I don't know if you've ever tasted oil, etc. It's tangy.
broader than just a mineral deal. It is a reinvestment fund that has been created so that you can get things rebuilt quickly with funds that are from that region and developed from that country to make the difference. Because once this is over and President Trump and his envoys will make that happen, there's been a lot of damage and economic damage, physical damage. And our commitment is to help with that, but also to be present in making sure that the rest of the world knows that America's present in that region now as well.
Wow. Okay. So total about face from Trump on this. Apparently, fuck you, Vladimir Putin. And ultimately, he was either, whether it was the papacy or Zelensky himself or Zelensky and Rubio sort of playing both sides of the fence, cornering Trump into doing the better thing, even if he didn't want to. Has turned this thing around. Turn the shit around. Now, speaking of absolute shit, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Howard Nutlick, Chuckle Lugnuts. I think it was Al Pacino said, "Oh, I got so many names." Whatever. So, this, things are good. I know, look, you fuckers, let me tell you something, chat room. You bunch of goddamn worrywarts. Okay, tariffs. Oh, inflation hasn't come down. Oh, the commercial price of eggs has gone down, but retail egg prices are up. Boo, fucking, hey, I'm never going to take a job screwing tiny screws into a phone. What the hell? Oh, you listen. You're paying attention to all the wrong details. Mainly facts, I think is the word. That's why you should be made to, create your own facts like they do. That's why Trump is so excited about factories. I don't know if you know this, but a factory is a building where you make your own facts. It's like a rectory is where you get somebody right in the rectory.
Moon River.
No pun intended.
Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
So there's a factory is where they just make up their own facts from scratch. Truth isn't truth, okay? As the Saint Rudy said. Where the fuck is he these days? Huh? Ugh. I don't want to find out. Neither do you. So, probably parked across from a private school for girls with tinted windows and his hands in his lap. That'd be my guess. So, Howard Lutnick says, you shouldn't pay too much attention to GDP reports. What are you doing? Why are you listening to all this stuff that, obviously is bullshit unless we like the numbers?
And welcome to Rob Schmidt tonight. We are here.
Oh, I didn't realize he was being interviewed by Rob Schmidt.
The Department of Commerce, right across.
Geez, let it not be said, let it ne'er be said that Newsmax isn't getting access, that right-wing media isn't getting a fucking, an elephant tour by dangly bits through all the halls of our government.
From the White House.
Obviously, the big story for the past couple of weeks has been tariffs and the nerves that come with this as the president makes it.
The nerves? How dare you, Rob Shit? Your hesitation, your pauses and stuff. I'm beginning to think that you're not on the team, Rob. I'm starting to think that you're not committed to what the master has proposed. And I would hate to see you shunt before your welcoming day in the cult. Right.
Valiant effort to bring a lot of industry back to the United States and to create a much more fair environment for trade around the world. The fight that he is pushing here is a strong and valiant fight. There's a lot.
Yes. Before I ask the person in charge, as a newsman, let me tell you, the president is holding up the shield and the sword of tariff and sanction and swinging them with a boldness that it harkens back to great fighters like Glass Jaw Joe.
Honor to it, but there's a lot of risk as well. So we wanted to talk to the Commerce Secretary about exactly how it's going. Take a look. Secretary Lutnick, thank you so much for joining us. It's a big...
Inviting us. Rob, inviting us. Or letting us interview you here and blah, blah, blah. You're in his place. He didn't come to... He didn't join you. You didn't go, hey, what? We just decided to set up a fucking camera setup in here and look who we got. we called him after. He said yes.
I want to start just with the news this morning. The GDP number came in. It's down 0.3. You know, they're talking about more input.
How dare you use numbers around Howard Lutnick?
Coming in a lot of...
You're supposed to smile way too hard, laugh at every Trump joke, even if it's not funny, even if it accidentally mocks the president to his fucking face. Rob, get the memo.
Companies buying up things, knowing that the tariffs were coming. Your reaction to that as we get started?
Yeah, well, if you think about GDP, right,
Yeah.
Domestic production, right, when they know tariffs are coming.
Okay, no. Gross domestic product is not gross domestic production. Fuck you 100 times. This is just dumb.
The foreigners just pour it in.
Right.
So while there's lots for sale, it's not domestically produced product. So that's a natural reaction. It doesn't mean it's bad for Americans at all.
Yeah.
It just means, look, the foreigners try to pour it in real quick, and this is the natural outcome. But it goes away in a quarter.
Wait, no. The foreigners didn't try to pour it in real quick. People were buying. Suppliers in the country that take stuff from outside the country and turn it into something else. They buy t-shirts from overseas and they slap their fucking logo on it and they sell it. If the price of that t-shirt is going to go through the fucking roof, they're going to stock for the next year right now. They're going to rush those in. It isn't because China's dumping fucking t-shirts. It's that anybody who sells anything, you know, around a clothing line or something like that is like, fuck, flood it in here before, like, we got 90 days. Front fill all this shit. And then, boy, are they going to be pissed if like the sales that, I mean, this might be a bait and switch. Think of it this way. This is a very strong, I wouldn't say very strong possibility because I don't know that they think ahead at all. But let's say Lutnick and these guys who are working on these pump and dumps with Trump's meme coins and all that shit are like, here's how it works. We get all these sellers who are raising their prices. We get them to like freak out and front load and overbuy during the early part of the year, ordering stuff, you know, to get there within 90 days, get all this stuff, stack it on the shelves, and then we repeal the tariffs and they've got too much of this shit. And the sale prices, everything's going to be cheap around Christmas, and everybody will think we brought prices down because we front loaded all this shit. Because they have to sell it at a discount because they got no room for whatever the next year's stock is going to be.
So this kind of stuff, you shouldn't, you know, pay too much attention.
So that number is not too concerning, just, you know, kind of push.
Yeah. Oh, by the way. Oh, totally. And by the way, if there was a negative 0.3 growth during any of the Biden years, it would still be news. They go, Jesus, this guy had -3 growth at one point. Like, that would be the story.
Forward. I look at this, I've listened to,
By the way, somebody on Instagram just said Lab Rats was the best Disney show. Yes. Yes, that is true. Well spotted. And if you're new here, sorry for all the cussing.
You guys have said about this fight, and I think this is a very valiant effort to do what's right for the American people. It's also very politically risky. There's a reason.
Dude, just blow him. I don't know what else to tell you. Just blow him at this point. Why are you even doing it? Why isn't this just devolving into porn? Good Lord.
Nobody touches kind of this fight, and we've watched our middle class in this country be decimated for decades now.
Yes,
we've
Kelly.
watched it be hollowed out. We've watched our jobs move away. All the things that Trump is fighting for, that you're fighting for.
That he didn't do shit about in his first term.
These are there's a lot of integrity in what you're trying to do. But there's a ton of risk, too. And I think you guys fully understand that.
Do they? I don't know if he'd be fucking...
And, I talk to guys all the time. I'm not a business student. I'm a...
Great. I'm glad they sent you. It's good. Thanks, Newsmax. Good job. Yeah, I was like, I hope they send somebody that understands these things. I will give the defendant, insofar as Newsmax hosts are in general, they at least did send someone who knows more about the economy than Lutnick does. So, and at 0, Lutnick's at the -0.3.
TV guy. But I talk to Wall Street guys all the time that love Trump. They love you. They voted for you. They support you. But they are nervous right now. What are you telling people to kind of calm those nerves as people are...
They're not nervous. When you're talking to them, they're not nervous. They're screaming. They're livid. They're freaked out. They're panicked. They're angry, dummy. They're not like, well, oh gosh, I don't know. I guess we'll give it a couple of days or so. I don't know. I hope it works out. There's a lot, let me get nervous to, do these kind of things. I don't know about you, but you got to do something to relax, because this is a lot. I hope at some point.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Yeah.
Hearing stories about container ships and everything else.
So let's take a step back and look at the...
Yeah, let's step back. And Les Grossman.
Yeah.
The United States has a $1.2 trillion trade deficit. That means we buy other countries' products more than we buy our own.
Yeah.
I just got a moron cramp from listening to that. Yeah, you heard that right. I mean, he said it wrong, but you heard it right.
Countries' dollar trade deficit. That means we buy other countries' products more than we buy our own.
Yeah.
Right? So
No, not right. It means we buy $1.2 trillion more worth of stuff from the entire fucking world than they buy from us. Because our economy is the largest in the world. It is twice, if not 3 times as big as China's. Don't believe the fucking $18 trillion hype. That's garbage. And nobody else can even fucking chart next to us. We buy more stuff because we have more money. Retailers buy more from their wholesalers than the other way around, no matter what the fuck they sell. Even if everybody from the Cheeto plant does nothing but eat Cheetos, they're still never going to live off the amount of Cheetos they produce. You understand? There's never going to be a 1-to-1 ratio, you fucking weirdo. God damn, this is stupid. No. Howard, no. you dipshit. Trade deficit is not how much we buy of foreign goods versus how much of our own goods we buy. And you don't get to like misspeak like that and have the other guy go, yeah. Listen, it's again, who's more foolish? Listen to fucking
dollar trade deficit. That means we buy other countries' products more than we buy our own.
Yeah.
Right? So
fuck you, Rob. No. You don't No. Rob shit. Hey dummy. No, not yes. You don't get to say yes. Yeah, totally. That's exactly what happens. It's not at all what happens. It's not what a trade deficit is. It never has been. It never will be. You're an asshole. Holy God. He said the exact opposite, essentially. I mean, I don't even know if it's like it's perpendicular to the fucking thing. And Rob shit follows up with yes. Not, like kind of you could write it off as just kind of talking agreement. You didn't quite hear what he's saying. You're just waiting to say your next question because you're a self-involved asshole, which is the main job requirement if you work at Newsmax. Which is, I mean, if that, and it's right there on the fucking, employee form when you fill it up. Yeah, you fill it out. You need, that's yeah. I'm shocked I don't already have a job there.
we have a $30 trillion GDP. Right? I'll round it up to make it easy, right? So that's 4% GDP a year that we give to other people. And
no, we don't. We don't give it to them. We buy shit with it. What the fuck are you talking about? We don't give it to them. We get more for that money than we give, or we wouldn't give it. What the fuck? All right. Who the fuck pays more for something than it's worth in any circumstance other than, Trump crypto and Trump stock and Tesla stock? The rest of us, we're like, okay, what's worth more to me? That thing or $50? That's the decision you make. Whether it's business or anything. Is this $50, hanging on to this $50, is that more valuable than buying that piece of gear or that piece of, that particular dinner out, or taking my client to dinner, or whatever those things are, or buying these goods overseas? That's what's worth more to me right now. This money in my hand, holding on to this money, or getting that thing. What the fuck? Just FYI now, that's cool. Okay. Ojada's on there. Good. He's running. He should be everywhere. That's good. Okay.
Who's the beneficiary, right? China has $1 trillion of it through themselves, and of course through Vietnam and through Thailand and through everywhere.
Yeah, where that money is spent in Thailand, no matter what you say, it still feeds Thai people and that kind of stuff. Even if it's through there, even if they're running roughshod around country of origin shit, it's still worth more than the money in hand. That's how all commerce works, you fucking moron. Good. This is, I am, okay. I gotta admit, I am actually shocked at how stupid this is. I'm always, look, I'm used to being bullshitted by these guys. I think we all are. I think we've all grown accustomed to the idea that these guys, will just blow smoke. But this is just fucking stupid. You're shocked that I'm shocked? Well, again, and that you committed this to fucking video.
They sell to us. So if Donald Trump is able to cut that number 25%, you'd say, come on, he's going to try to do bigger than that. That's 1% of GDP in America. 1% of GDP.
Yeah. No, it's not. Okay, fuck me. All right, how do I explain this without fucking, I need a fucking, where do I, all right. All right, I gotta draw something. I'll use hand gestures, and I apologize if they're filthy. Okay, chat room. The $1.2 trillion worth of goods that we buy from the rest of the world. let's say a third of that, or let's just say 0.2% of that is goods we just consume. We buy brie from France and wine from France that we consume, and we buy lederhosen for Rocktoberfest and Canadian donuts for to celebrate hockey something. And we buy those things, we consume them, we wear them, or we eat them from a foreign country. They're just for that. And then there's a trillion of it is goods that come from a country that an American company either adds to something that they make, or from multiple countries, by the way. So there's like 3 or 4 things from different countries, like an iPhone, which has parts, the glass is made in South Korea, the chips are made in Cupertino, the circuit boards are made in different places. Sometimes they're made in Taiwan, sometimes they're made in South Korea, sometimes they're made in Japan, and they kind of shuffle them around. Same thing with the computers. And then they take those multiple things and they send them to China to a plant owned by Foxconn to assemble them in China. Okay? They're not made in China, they're assembled in China. Okay? So there's multiple things in that come from multiple countries. Also, these overlap. They're not, you can't just stack up and say that like the iPhone means that there's one thing that comes from a foreign source, because it's multiple sources that we would have different arrangements with. So $1 trillion worth of that stuff we buy from other countries, we bring it into other countries, and purposefully turn it into another product that we either sell to each other or we sell to the rest of the world. We take parts of it and we use those parts that we get from foreign countries, like aluminum for cars or circuit boards or dashboards or fucking safety glass or any from Mexico, those kind of things. And you assemble things either here or in Mexico or in Canada, but they are made from foreign sources. And that is turned into a monetary source in the economy that makes the person who assembles that thing into one unit way more money. So that $1 trillion is turned into about $6 to $7 trillion worth of economic activity in the country. If you take out that $1 trillion, you don't just go, oh, we'll fill it with $1 trillion. That $6 trillion that is made from this trillion that just fucking vanishes also goes away. Why is this so fucking hard to understand? Honestly, like, it's incredibly fucking dumb. If you eliminate the trade deficit, you eliminate the profit of all those companies that say it is cheaper to buy something overseas for the product that I sell for economic activity inside the United States. Either as a fucking, call it Walmart's own brands that they just slap their label on and they have them made in other factories around the world cheaply, right? That economic activity, that profit, that the entire infrastructure, all the fucking accountants, all the salespeople, all the designers, all the people who work on that, if you eliminate that tradability from that one point, you eliminate all the economic activity that comes with it. Everyone knows this. And the fact that listen, and now I want to play for you his explanation again. Just how fucking stupid this is.
So let's take a step back and look at the big picture.
Yeah. And fuck your own face! Sorry, I just get that Les Grossman line from Tropic Thunder stuck in my head when he says that.
The United States has a $1.2 trillion trade deficit. That means
and a $30 trillion economy. Do you think that maybe that's a sign of the strength of the economy? Hey, asshole. How big was our economy when we had a smaller trade deficit? How big was our economy? It was $10 trillion. Before we outsourced stuff and we were able to raise capacity and production by outsourcing and getting massive amounts of stuff made for the same price as a few units. What did that do to GDP? What did that do to the wealth of everybody in the fucking country. My fucking God. All right, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I wanted just to play through this.
Buy other countries' products more than we buy our own.
Yeah.
God damn, it just hurts every time. It's so fucking dumb.
Right? So we have a $30 trillion GDP. Right? I'll round it up to make it easy. Right? So that's 4% GDP a year that we give to other people. And you know who's the beneficiary, right? China has $1 trillion of it through themselves and, of course, through Vietnam and through Thailand and through everyone else where they sell to us. So if Donald Trump is able to cut that number 25%, you'd say, come on, he's going to try to do bigger than
it's fucking ridiculous. It's a massive hole you're blowing in the economy. And I got news for you. Eventually, the jobs that have been outsourced overseas, the sewing of shirts, the assembling of electronics and all that kind of stuff, it's all going to be automated. It's all going to be robots. It's all going to be, I mean, again, all these car manufacturing plants, every new one that's being built is having maybe, you know, it's going from like, there used to be 1,500 people to 500 people to 300 people to 200 people to 9 fucking people running the whole thing. That's the way things are going. And at one point, you'll be able to take all the outsourced stuff that was done in China and do it in the United States, Mexico, or Canada, wherever the plants are. But they'll basically be like giant vending machines. Shit will be made in them without very much human intervention, and labor will be close to zero. We're in the next 10 years, that's what's going to happen. In the interim, though, shocking the shit out of the system is basically a way of guaranteeing that these assholes get out of the crab bucket before everybody else is fucked.
That's 1% of GDP in America. 1% of GDP, $300 billion of more our producing and selling, balancing things. Imagine if we cut it in half. 2% of GDP. And then to create that domestic production, we've got to build factories. Trillions and trillions of investment. You know what that is? Those are points and points of GDP.
Yeah.
And
No, they're not. No, they're not, because it drops it raises the price of everything because of where you're making it and who's going to be making it and the value of the land and the value of the workers and the value of the electricity and the zoning and the fact that we give a shit about our rivers and streams and don't want fucking everything to be polluted like it was the Industrial Revolution. And so as the price goes up, the amount of units you feed in goes down, right? This is the price going up and the units go down. So you're just going to have fewer things available for richer people, and the average person just gets lamer and cast off goods and shit again. I mean, this is why they think the 1800s were the greatest time of where, you know, not having a pot to piss in made us all strong bootstrappers.
you take our awesome economy, the greatest economy in the world,
and shit it down a fucking tube, right?
put the right guy in the Oval Office, Donald Trump, what you could have is 2-3 points of GDP growth.
Yeah, shaved right off the top. Just drop it. Maybe kill $3-4 trillion worth of GDP yearly forever. It's a dream come true. God damn.
Talking about coming from
just from that,
the Oval Office, being the right person.
Fuck, watching Rob shit just doing math in his head that makes no. It's like somebody nodding along in algebra class. Oh yeah, totally. That's why x is what is it? It's five. It's 5. That's right. That's right. That's 5. Absolutely 5. X always means 5. I mean, not always, but you know, in this situation, it would always mean 5 in this equation. If this was the only equation ever, then it would mean 5. So x means, you know, in this circumstance, what would it be if it changed y to what? Well, y would obviously, if it's y is 14 squared. If y is 14, and okay, so y squared is and x, that would mean x is still x is not still 5. God, this is I feel so much smarter.
Business.
Yeah, call Terrence Howard. This is totally Terrence Howard math.
And saying, we've got the greatest economy in the world, we've got the greatest business people in the world, but...
Yeah, thanks, Biden.
let everybody else take advantage of us. Why should we go build factories in the worst environmental rules with the cheapest slave labor?
We aren't. Businesses are. Because that factory is worth more than the cash in hand. Because it will produce stuff and shit.
It's okay? I don't remember that being okay. I remember the right answer is...
Okay, fuck off. This guy was always for outsourcing until he was in this administration. Lutnick's not like, oh, it's terrible what's happening to the working class. Get the fuck out of here. This is the guy who's like, if my 97-year-old grandmother missed her fucking check, her Social Security check, do you think she'd mind? No, because you're a fucking billionaire, asshole. She didn't even know she was getting it.
Let's build those factories here. But remember, these are high-tech, high-paying jobs. We're not trying to have like a sea of sewing machines with Americans sewing it.
And that was the other point.
Yeah, this is him walking back that fucking Americans doing tiny screws.
You guys, you want to focus on semiconductors, medical, pharmaceuticals, steel.
Exactly.
You don't want to build everything in the world in the United States. You're focusing on...
No!
It's because it's obviously it's national security, and it's if we ever get into a conflict, you can't have our medicine being made in China. You can't have our steel being made, in countries.
By the way, our medicine is not made in China. And this is another business thing that nobody fucking talks about. You know why we get 90% of our antibiotics or our pain relievers, mainly our pain relievers like Tylenol and shit from China? Because that's where it's cheapest. If we got into a war with China or we had a problem with them, we would buy it from Europe or India, and it would be slightly more expensive. The reason we buy the mass volume of things from a certain country or from from a country that is like cornered the market on it is because by focusing on volume, they can offer it very cheaply. It doesn't mean nobody else is making the shit. It just means it's more expensive. And the same thing goes like for steel and steel fabrication. It's like the same thing we were talking about. What was the other day? The chronic healthcare, chronic disease. We spend 95% of our healthcare money on chronic disease. Of course you fucking do, because temporary disease doesn't cost that much. Those treatments are short. Those treatments don't take very... Chronic disease will always outpay. You will always pay more because it lasts as long as people fucking live. It starts when they are 50 and goes until they are 97. Of course, chronic disease is going to be more expensive, you fucking asshole. It starts for some people when they're born or when they're injured at a very young age or they develop MS or ALS or something like that. That's a chronic disease, and the expenditures on those are fucking enormous. So of course that makes up 95% of our medical spending, you fucking asshole. We don't spend it mostly on Band-Aids and 6 stitches every 3 years. So mathematically, it's always going to chart higher. Because it's chronic. It's never ending. The same thing is... this is so dumb.
They're not going to give us any. And that all makes sense. And that's why I say, I mean, the fight is it's the right fight. It's a valiant fight. It's a...
Yeah, dude, like, you can tell he's just trying to spackle shit shut with maggot phrases. It's like, I don't understand any of this, but valiant fight... America first. We'll sand it later.
Fight though, and right now it feels like we're almost kind of in this race where it's like, can we get these deals done before the pain of an extended tariff war, is felt here? Because the one disadvantage that we have is that we're talking mostly about China, right? That's the big one. They've got a president for.
Yeah, then why did we declare fucking tax war on everyone? And why does Trump know? We've been taken advantage of by everyone, friend and foe alike. If China is $1 trillion out of the $1.2 trillion deficit, then why are we even bothering with the 0.2? This is so lame.
Have control of their media. You guys don't have that advantage. You've got about a year, to kind of make this happen.
So we're not really in a bad place at all.
You ain't seen nothing yet. We're not in a bad place. Things really haven't started to go bad yet. Think of it this way. You ever see those movies where somebody's lit a wick and it's burning across the floor and there's a lot of tension? You know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh no, the wick is burning. And sometimes it's in slow-mo or people are diving for it or trying to throw water on it or cut it or whatever. And will they be able to? And all this stuff. And as the wick is burning, we're not really in a bad place. Because what is it, if you think about it, basically, it's just a little fire that's moving along a string, right? You're in a bad place when it actually reaches the bomb and the explosion blows your fucking face off and your eyeballs into the back of your skull and your guts turn to liquid and you shit yourself and the skin on your legs flies off backwards and stuff and your belt buckle ends up going through your body and being embedded in the wall and some poor sap from the coroner's office finds it later and goes, what the fuck is, oh my God, this is the dude's belt buckle. That's when you're really in trouble.
An exaggeration, right? We've got a 10% tariff on the world.
Yeah.
No one is retaliating. We're negotiating with
bullshit.
All these countries, and the basic premise is, look, you know the rate we're going to charge you if you say nothing. So how about you open your market, be fair,
and let our markets destroy your markets.
Get it right. And in exchange for that, we'll set a fair tariff together and we'll come to that balance. Let's get it on and let's do it together. And that is happening fast and ferociously across the markets. So we as a country are in great shape.
Yeah.
I agree. The issue is China. And they are always the issue, right? They are.
Yeah, then again, why pick a fucking fight with Europe then?
Big dog, right? And that we've given to, the president's given that to Scott Bessent. Right, and he is focused on that.
Because every time I talk to these people, they laugh and hang up.
We are all rooting for him to do, to get the right deal, to de-escalate China, to sort that out. But the rest of the world is in really, really good shape. And I want you to understand how good shape. We're going to get deal after.
You paused it for 90 days. And no, you're not going to get deal after deal. You already have deals in place. We have deals. We have regular trade negotiations with countries and limited tariffs on certain things. And we've been back and forth and filed, WTO lawsuits over the years. We're going to get back to that. And because maggots have no idea that we have general trade back and forth, that we have this giant, the American Trade Association, like their document, their big booklet on it, is we negotiate with countries in direct ways and in multilateral conversations through these meetings at the G7 and all that kind of stuff all the time. We've been doing it forever, but maggots have no idea that stuff is ongoing or ever has existed. All they know is NAFTA turned into USMCA and USMCA is the greatest thing ever, but apparently it's the easiest, most loophole-filled bullshit treaty in the history of the world because ever since then, fentanyl and criminals from Mexico and Canada, some shit like that. They're going to come out and go, we've got a new deal with Paris or with France and with London that allows us to do these kind of things. And on certain things, we'll have a minor tariff of 2.5% or 3%. You're like, yeah, that's what we had before you guys came into office. That was always there.
But remember, each one of these deals is how much you're going to open your market, how much you're going to be more fair to us. Right? How are we going to deal with pharmaceuticals? How are we going to deal with semiconductors? How are we going to deal with steel?
None of which have to do with Europe. None of which have to do with India. None of which have to do with fucking the UK or the Middle East, which apparently is not part of the conversation at fucking all.
Do it so that our national security is protected. And what I tell all these countries is, yes, we are America first, but we are not America only. And once you understand we're
and I can hear them all collectively getting boners as I say that. It's just so they get so excited, and they're like, oh, that's nice. I'm sure that like glamorous platitude, the glamitude that you throw out there it totally makes up for your absolute total lack of understanding of how business works in the real world. Hedge fund asshole.
Not America only. We're not America exclusively. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We need to be a strong America to help the world. The world needs a strong America. And then
yeah, we were last year. We're doing just fine.
Help them. But we can't help ourselves if we have a $1.2 trillion trade deficit and we're...
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. Because we turn that $1.2 trillion trade deficit into about $6 trillion worth of economic activity every year.
$2 trillion budget deficits. We're not going to be the power of the world to make the world a better place. We need to fix our house, and Donald Trump is fixing our house.
No, he isn't. He's trying to cut all this shit and find other monetary sources to pull money in so he can give a tax break to billionaires. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to cut programs, and he's trying to raise... He wants this illusion that he's raised trillions of dollars of investment and all this stuff so that when they go, we need to raise the debt ceiling $5 trillion. I brought in $6 trillion, $8 trillion worth of business. It'll all work out, right? That's what he's trying to do. It's a swap out. He's trying to excuse his tax cut by creating all these bullshit secondary revenue streams. It's nonsense.
You've indicated that there's been, and you just said best since China, you're the rest of the world. There's indications that you've given that I think Japan, South Korea, other countries that you're getting close. You said yesterday that you have a deal done. You know, it just needs to be approved by their parliament, by their leadership. Can you give us any kind of a hint on that? Can you give us an indication of how close you are on these other deals?
Well, I think they're all in pretty good shape. I mean, I think we have a hand.
Look at his face. Nope. Yeah, I think, they're good. These are great. I think everything is going extremely, it couldn't go better, actually, if I really think about it. As far as details, I don't want to, but this is the kind of the best you could hope for in this, Jesus Christ.
Full of countries that are in reasonable shape. But
like how close? Like a couple weeks, a month?
Yeah, I think less.
Less?
I think less. Yeah, really? I think we are in very good shape, and we can cover a lot of ground. But you know what? When you're trying to get it right, especially the first 3 or 4 deals where you guys are going to be reading every
those are the
word
hard ones,
of it,
right? That's the hardest part. Once you get the layout of it, you can start moving really fast,
so I want
right?
people to understand.
Yeah, if you fuck up the next ones, those are the big ones, anyways. If you can get fucking Madagascar and fucking Japan and you can get Burkina Faso and shit like that. You get those deals done, and then after that, you can just kind of blaze through.
How are we going to deal with semiconductors?
Yeah.
How are we going to deal with pharmaceuticals? What's the right answer for steel? And the right answer for steel on different countries is different things, right? You have to realize different countries are different things. If you think about steel, right, just for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just going to get fucking stupid. I can just feel it. It makes my bones ache listening to this dickhead.
Seen a blast furnace, right? We've all seen like a molten steel being poured. Think of the cost of that. That's power. So if a government gives their steel industry power at 50% off, they're going to kick everybody else's tail.
And that's the new tax bill, right? There's a huge incentive for businesses to bring in.
Right,
They can deduct all of that cost.
That's why you've got to have a tariff.
Look, he's like, these awful countries are backfilling the energy for their steel industry so that they can fuck everybody. And that's just wrong. That's why in our new tax bill, that's what we're doing for all of our businesses. We're going to give them half off all their energy. We're going to give them a tax break where they can write off all their energy usage because we're going to have because this drill baby drill shit is leaving us with excess oil. We don't fucking need it. We're making too much.
Protect us when you're a business in America.
Yeah.
And you're fighting the government of X.
Yeah.
You're going to lose. So we used to have 40 aluminum smelters, and now we have 10. Why? Because there are governments around the world who are supporting their aluminum industry.
Yeah. Tesla gets their aluminum from Russia. Go.
Ours. Supporting their steel and crushing ours. It's not like our steel guys aren't as good, but what happens is if another country, and China, of course, is always one of the leaders, but there are plenty of other countries who do it as well, when their government supports their business, it makes it really, really hard for our businesses. And finally, Donald Trump.
Oh, you mean like tax credits for buying electric cars or buying American?
the White House, and he's saying, I can analyze those, I can figure out where it's happening and why it's happening, and I can fix it, and I can balance that with tariffs. So you know what you're going to see? You're going to see, why don't we do furniture anymore? We used to always do it in North Carolina. When I was a young man, it was all from North Carolina.
I'm sorry. Was all the furniture in your house whittled by a slave? What the fuck? No. And again, what you're talking, I would like to say for the record, what he's talking about is fine furniture. Trump brings it up, and so does Letnick. There's North Carolina furniture makers that are for the kind of shit you put in the White House or you put in really ritzy hotels and that kind of stuff. It's not where the rest of us got our fucking Macy's furniture from. It's not where we all got our first fucking apartment full of our metal fucking bed frame so that we could get our mattress and box spring off the fucking floor, or our whatever end tables or nightstands we got to replace our 2 fucking milk crates. Right? Those days, when you took your moving boxes and that was your TV stand, and now you've got an IKEA. It's not what he's fucking talking about. He's talking about rich people furniture, hand-carved oak furniture, that's super expensive. That's why. And by the way, one of the reasons they still make that stuff there, but they're not the only game in town, and most people can get IKEA stuff. Largely, by the way, a big portion of that used to be made in China, now being made in the Czech Republic. The next time you go to IKEA, see where it's being sourced now. A lot of it's Mexico, Heche, Mexico, right? And then Hecho, in Mexico. And then same thing with the Czech Republic, which is where all the iPhones are now being wrapped and boxed. They used to be done in China. Then the production's being moved to Vietnam, and the packaging is being moved to the Czech Republic and Eastern Europe.
Why is it all elsewhere? Because their governments support their industry.
No, it's not. Because their standard of living is $2 a fucking day. And therefore, hiring employees there to work for $3 a fucking day, which sounds terrible to us, means that their standard of living goes up 50% over everyone else around them. That working for they work in factories for $6 a day. Yes, but the cost of living there is so much fucking lower that $6 goes where $80 worth. Yeah. So, okay, Hal's wrong. In North Carolina was the leading furniture manufacturer of all prices back in the 80s. I was in furniture manufacturing back then. Okay, yes, but he's not talking about that furniture. He's not talking about the fucking Sears furniture and the availability of it. Again, no college students had IKEA furniture back then. You had a mattress, a box spring, and you just used milk crates. There was a whole group of people, and again, we're talking about percentages. The percentage could stay the exact same, and North Carolina could sell the same fucking amount of furniture that they sell, all of it. 10,000 units. They make 10,000 units, and back then there were fewer human beings, and the only people that owned homes or could afford a nice apartment could afford furniture. And they would go and look for nice furniture as a couple or whatever, and then they would build their shit. But there was a whole substructure of people, an enormous group of people, and they weren't just college kids, that had makeshift furniture, stuff you slap together yourself. Yeah, milk crates. I had when I moved from Chicago to LA in my little apartment on Kling Street and Pass Avenue, the apartment I lived in, my buddy Matt and I moved out there. The apartment we moved into looked exactly like Danny LaRusso's apartment building in The Karate Kid. If you know what that building looks like, that's a very California layout. Swimming pool in the middle, and then 2 upper floors. It looks like an old hotel or motel, motor lodge kind of style. Okay, we lived just up to the right. If you were walking in the front, and you're there are 2 flights of stairs, and there's a pool in the center. 2 flights of stairs. Ours was right at the top of the stairs, right there. Okay, and we had a futon with one of those folding wood things from Pier 1. Remember Pier 1? Pier 1 was one of the early versions of a Japanese futon, and the production of Japanese futons that you could get, many of which were made in the United States, but they were made just really cheaply. And then he did that natural wood folding couch to bed frame. Remember that shit? That was our couch. And that was it. We both had a mattress, a box spring that we got when we got there, boxes that we brought our shit in, turned into furniture. That was it. Until I moved out of that place, until I moved, like he fucked off and I moved in with my buddy Rob Fiedler and lived in his house and actually bought a bed at one point. And I bought like a used bed and dresser off of Craigslist and went and picked it up in my shit-ass truck. Before that happened, I didn't have furniture. At all. Not really. And so that's where the furniture market was. It was people who could afford furniture, and everybody else just made do. They either took shit they went to junkyards, they took stuff that their parents were throwing out. There was no market at all. IKEA filled a market that was bare at first. Now Target fills that bare market, right? B-A-R-E. So this is really. I want to be really specific about this. There was a gap in the consumer wanting furniture that was impossible to fill until such time as factories opened up overseas where a product like IKEA or Target or any of these other things could start making that available because you just went without. And the units made in North Carolina, mid-level and high-level furniture that you're talking about, were only available for a certain window of people, and everybody else just went without, or they bought used stuff or knockoff stuff, or they fucking repurposed things, or they Etsy'd things themselves, right? People still do. Yes, can we get me over 82K, please? Can we subscribe? Is that too hard? I mean, who makes math more fun than this? I mean, honestly. I'm calling you out, Hannah Fry. I think I think I could surpass you in adorable. Just saying. I'm not kidding. I'm just fucking around. Yes, okay, she's better at math than I am. But still, I think toe to toe. Anyways, point being, this asshole is talking about a window of available stuff to the average person that raised their quality of life that he had nothing, has never had an experience of. Nothing.
And beat ours up. And we need help here. And that's what Donald Trump is doing.
The private investment that's poured into the country has been really impressive. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of money that's coming.
Nope. Promises, suggestions, no deals signed. Most of it came from the Chips and Science Act, was already in place.
And I think there's an event today with NVIDIA, others.
NVIDIA.
Just going to reemphasize that.
NVIDIA sounds like a fucking skin cream.
And how critical that is. There's something you're working on in this big tax bill that's going to probably come, I hope, sometime this summer. That's going to...
Probably come, I hope, sometime this summer. They moved it from Memorial Day to July 4th.
Further, that's going to allow businesses to have a carve-out for, I think, building plants. There's a huge incentive there to get people to come in, and they're going to be able to deduct all of that from the bottom line, right? Talk about that.
So the idea is we need to rebuild the industrial base of America, but not the old one, the new one, where I was at TSMC or
Yeah, we don't need to build those old factories where people worked.
Talking to the guy who builds Peterbilt trucks.
Yeah.
And he's got, a great automated factory, but 2,000 people work there.
Yes, 15,000 used to work at the old plants. 2,000 work at this. He's trying to get it down to 500.
I was at yesterday, 4,000 people, real classic hardworking Americans, right? Trade craft who have been trained as technicians, right? They know how to do that. So they're building those plants in America, and these are the kind of jobs we want. They start at 75,000, go to 150,000. These are the right jobs for our foundational employees, the people who make America great, our high school educated.
Yeah, I hope there's something in that bill that says all that appreciation that they get to write off, the cost of it, that they get a tax break on. If they ever close down that factory and move it out of the country, they have to pay it all back with interest. How about that? We're going to give you a tax break I mean, am I the only person who thinks this shit up? Am I the only person who's considered this? Can I throw this out there, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to give you a tax break on purchases and on building. You're going to build a factory in this country. It's going to be an amazing tax break. It's going to help you get started off the ground. If at any time this is Lutnick coming straight from a meeting with Trump. If you just if the company if it's 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if you move it out of the country, you have to pay us back the tax break plus interest. The interest rate is 5%. So you are getting a no interest loan as long as you effectively on that tax break by building it here. If at any time you rescind on that, you lose that no interest loan standing and you owe us that money plus 5%. How about that? Does that seem like too much to ask? I mean, you only have to do it if you throw it out there. So, yeah. You only get, it's only going to cost you if you bait and switch people. Okay. Honk.
Working, dedicated Americans, they are the foundation of America that Donald Trump is in. So the idea is encourage people to build those factories and give them the tax incentive. Don't say you have.
There you go. Thanks, Twitch. Hype train.
Appreciated over 15 years. I tell you what, you come in now.
Yeah.
Right? And the government of the United States is going to make it easier for you to build it. We're going to get the regulations down. We're going to get the tax rate down.
Gonna. As a business person, why would you, if you're outside the country, and it's not your country, you got a factory outside the country and you're thinking about moving it to the United States to avoid the tariffs, and they're like, we're going to bring down these regulations, we're going to bring down the taxes, you're not going to have to worry. Why wouldn't I go, okay, I'm just going to wait until you do that, though. I'll just, hope my country can work out the 10% tariff because that'll be way cheaper than moving my factory at any time. And the tax base that you would get out of me doing it would be way higher than that 10%. So you would get more out of it if I was there, but the 10% is just a roll off. So we'll just and I can get a subsidy from my own government that will eat that 10%. So fuck it. And I'll add a 15% to it myself and undercut your industry in the meantime until such time as you fix the taxes and the regulations, so I don't have to worry about toxins and all the poisons I dump into the water around here when I move it to the United States and start giving your citizens cancer clusters.
Get your corporate tax down. We're going to do everything we can.
Well, and as a business person, why wouldn't they just wait until you do it?
They come, build in America, right, and employ our great Americans, and let's change the industrial foundation of America.
Why? What's in it for them?
Donald Trump's going to do it, and he's on it. Yeah. And he's the first one who's actually called it out that we are inventing everything in the world, but we're letting everyone else build it. Why? Yeah. Think about this.
We're not letting them. We're paying them to do it because it's cheaper. Businesses, that's how businesses are doing it. There's no we in this. The United States, industry in the United States, especially multinational corporations, aren't we. They're not committed to democracy. That's why they supported fucking Donald Trump.
And the iPhone, which is awesome, right? Why do we let everyone else build it? Why can't we build it here?
Because we would like it to be affordable and everybody to get one. Now that's the other thing. I think maybe this is it. Maybe this is what we're really coming to. Maybe this is the thing no one is supposed to utter a word about in maggot world, which is Lutnick and Trump and Musk and all these guys think it's a shame that poor people have cell phones. Why should you broke motherfuckers be allowed to have an iPhone? That should be something for fancy people. You should be stuck with a fucking Motorola or a flip phone until you actually get your act together, you shitty motherfucker, you trailer park asshole. There's no reason why somebody who lives in a trailer should be able to afford a smartphone. Fuck them. They should have to work twice as hard to get half as far. That's what they think. They think part of the problem with the world is the average person has access to computers that are too good, phones that are too good, clothes that look too good, furniture that is too good for them. That's what this is about. Let's make America expensive again. We need the middle class has got to learn that they've got to be fucking, happy for every nickel they get to rub together. Yeah, the same thing goes with student loans. Why should poor people? Universities are for rich kids. The problem with fucking schools are you let all these poor motherfuckers and through these scholarships and stuff, all these brown sons of bitches into these schools. That's what they're talking about. Yes, the replay of the Gilded Age. That's right, the Golden Age. That's what they're talking about. When most people lived in fucking, Peaky Blinders houses and everybody, and only the elites had fucking, we had a phone installed, father, right? That's what this is really about. You guys have access to too much shit, and you haven't earned it because you weren't born rich. That's what this fucker and what Trump are trying to bring to a close. That's what this is about. Chat room, I gotta take off because I gotta finish packing, and then I got a plane to catch in a couple hours, and I will be in Chicago tomorrow. Tomorrow my show will be at 7 a.m. my time out here in Vegas, but it'll be 9 a.m. Central Time because I'll be doing the show there. And then I'm going to roll right on to Dino Vidala's show, which I think they pre-tape, and it will air later in the afternoon. And then my afternoon show will be a little bit later, as I'm going to be on the Drive Time show on WCPT from 5 to 7 Central Time. And I'm going to see if I can live stream that. If I can, I will. And if I can't, I will just do a secondary stream either tomorrow night or before it. And then Saturday, I'm basically going to be on all day. I think we're going to get the mayor on as a guest, Mayor Chicago on as a guest, and a couple other people from the station will be on with us. I don't know if we'll be able to bring in Phil, but I'm going to try for at least part of the show. The internet there where we're doing this is kind of ass. So I have to bring my own separate 5G hotspot to run my show off of so that I don't have to pull from Chicago's device. Wish me luck. So 11 o'clock would be the normal time. I'm going to do my show at 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, and then roll right into that one, if that's okay with everybody. And Rob Glenn will join me. I'll be at his place completely exhausted. And at some point I'll have to nap, I think. But we'll see. What else? That's it. Okay. Love you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Share clips of the show if you would, if you don't mind. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show, etc., etc., etc. And I will see you guys come the morn. It's gonna be it's the next 2 days. There's gonna be plenty of me. There's gonna be so much of me. You're not gonna get sick of me. You're just gonna, on Sunday, you're gonna go, wow, I miss Hal being on basically all the time. That's my theory, anyways, and I'm sticking to it. So, hold on. Where is it? This one. That one. I'm feeling this one right now. Maybe it's a hair down kind of a thing. I don't know. I don't know if we'll end up with Hair Down Thursday being a regular thing, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Hit subscribe, will ya?